Hey, what up, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood menace back again, and we got the fake ghetto Democrat Jasmine Crocket going on another tirade, man. I told you guys she was losing it, man. She's losing it. The pressure's starting to get to her. And, dude, she goes on some kind of weird, unhinged rant and totally just admits she's a DEI hire and, like, stop picking on me! Okay, check this out right before we get into that.
MAGA just, there's nothing that I could ever say or do that would make MAGA be like, that's our girl.
You're right.
Because, like, first of all, ton of racist. So never happening, right?
She just can't seem to shut up. And now that Pam Bondi has came out with this video, she's starting to lose her mind, dude. It's really getting to her.
All of these cases are a serious threat to public safety. Therefore, there will be no negotiating. We are seeking 20 years in prison. The crime was committed in Colorado, and thanks to the great investigative work by the FBI, the defendant was arrested in Plano, Texas. Let this be a warning. You can run, but you cannot hide. Justice is coming.
So she's starting to lose her mind now after Pam Bondi has sent her that message, because she was recently going out there in my previous video. If you want to go watch it, she's talking about how she wants people to take Elon Musk down, and she's in charge of these protests that are going on where they're doxing people. They're putting all their information if they don't sell their Teslas. So she's a part of that. She's a part of all this doxing going on, forcing and terrorizing these people to just give up their Teslas. Like, these people aren't, I don't know why she thinks that all white people are rich. That seems pretty racist, but whatever. There's nothing but racist stuff comes out of her mouth. So now she's going to go on an unhinged meltdown, and you'll hear she admits to being a DEI hire.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And I first just want to begin with a news alert. Guess what? Joe Biden is not the president anymore. So maybe we can move on.
Yeah, we know that, loser.
We can move into the present, because it seems like we are living in the past. And listen, these are not the good old days, you know, like you used to sit around and your grandparents would talk to you about what used to happen. What we need to be talking about is how we are going to legislate, because I think that some of my colleagues have confused what our jobs are. And I get that we're sitting in judiciary. And so it may seem as if we are here to be litigators, but we are here to be legislators, which means that we are supposed to be writing laws, not trying to have our own trials and determine whether or not something is true or not, or whatever the case is, or who should be sued, who shouldn't be sued. All I know is that a great American hero, a good senator out of New Jersey, said something to the effect yesterday as he was shattering the record for holding the floor, a record that had been held by...
He shattered the record for being the most soy-infused Democrat to have Trump derangement syndrome, and cried like a little bitch on the floor.
Another racist in this country. As he shattered that, he said something about the fact that this should not be about left versus right. It should be about right versus wrong. And I am going to tell you that I want us to focus on right versus wrong. The reason that we are struggling right now in this country as it relates to people not trusting agencies, honestly, a lot of it is because of elected leaders. Let me tell you, one of the things...
Like you, that do absolutely nothing. And she admitted to that in my last video too.
Chairman and I actually agree upon, we don't agree on a lot, is that we both know that there has been a sharp incline as it relates to threats upon our lives. Regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, we both know and agree that as sitting members of Congress, we both are enduring more death threats than anybody should in this country.
You're encouraging violence on people you're literally going into the halls of Congress with. Like, this woman is so insane.
And I believe that it is because of the divisive rhetoric, and it is because of the selective enforcement of things. And so when we have, and I'm gonna be clear, because I had remarks and I'm going a whole other way.
You are retarded.
To have the sitting attorney general go on, and I'm gonna call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me. To have her go on
cool burn.
Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the highest law enforcement agent in this country, and people are watching and they are consuming this information, and they are believing that simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing, that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized.
No, it should be.
I don't like Elon Musk. I'm going to say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them.
He has bids, idiot. He has bids that he bids out jobs for the government, and he wins the bids because he has the most, he has the best deals. That's how dumb, that's how retarded she is. Elon Musk, when he gets his government contracts, they're bids. He doesn't just like go there and say, give me a contract. Like, she's the dumbest member of Congress.
Somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes, I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him.
I was there.
Because he is a problem. And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten.
And I think it was Idaho, some Trump deranged loser crashed his car into a group of anti-Tesla protesters. So they were Elon supporters, and they were doing a counter protest across the street. Is that a peaceful protest? Is that a peaceful protest? And it's because of people like her.
Sitting member of Congress, when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law. The reason that our party, or I won't even say our party, our country is torn apart is because we can't even agree on right versus wrong. This should not be left versus right. The only thing that we're asking is that we have law enforcement that will show up when there is an actual crime. If somebody calls and says, hey, I need you to investigate this cyber crime, or I need you to investigate this child pornography, or I need you to investigate this robbery, then we want somebody to show up, and we don't want them to look at us and act as if just because I'm black or because I'm woman that I am not worthy of having that case investigated, because we have an administration that is continuously railing against diversity, equity, and inclusion, or we don't need people that show up that feel like diversity should not be valued. That is why we should have somebody that may show up and looks like me. The final thing that I'll say, because you've been gracious, is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, let me tell you something. When I walk in, I'm going to walk in with a level of rapport and understanding then maybe some of my other colleagues will not.
No, you won't.
Charlie.
No, you won't. Your parents are above middle class. They're rich. You went to a private school that cost just as much as some people's college tuition. You don't know anything about these people you claim to represent.
My job, and I worked my butt off, and I worked really, really hard for all of my clients, not just those that look like me. And that is what it looks like to serve. Thank you.
What a loser. Well, maybe the walls are closing in on her because in her district, this just happened, I think, today or yesterday in Houston. That's her district. So she doesn't like American citizens. She wants to put American citizens, especially low-income black people that are in Houston, she wants to put them in the back of the line. She wants to put illegal aliens first. And this is just how disgusting these people are.
Everything is bigger in Texas, including their massive criminal migrant cities called Colony Ridge that the feds now have to target. There's been hundreds of criminal alien arrests inside of this town that was effectively designed in order to give illegal aliens homes without security numbers or bank accounts, mortgages that don't have to be tied to actual United States citizens. It's insane. It was a 33,000 acre development 30 miles outside of Houston. It's now being shut down by the feds because it is a cartel-run crime hub. And more importantly, it's a massive operation to change the culture of Texas forever. And that's really what's afoot here. This whole Colony Ridge stuff, all of the criminal aliens pouring across the board, the whole goal is to make sure that Texas becomes a blue state. And therefore, Republicans won't be able to win in the Electoral College ever again, right? If you lose Texas, you have a really tough go as Republicans. So that's what this is all about, right? Stupid little communities. It's about ripping apart the fabric of the very red, very Republican, very America-loving Texas.
All right, man. There you have it. I mean, there's evidence we can't directly link any of these things. You know what I mean? But Elon Musk just keeps recovering more and more data that the Democrat feds keep trying to hide. They just erased a terabyte of information, and they just said they recovered it. They're going through it right now. They're going to be finding out a lot of stuff. I think that's why she's freaking out, because she might. I'm going to make another video about Doge and everything later, but there is some insane stuff going on that could be linked to this about how they're finding illegal aliens are being issued social security numbers. And, you know, if there's a whole super town where they're at, it just put the pieces together, man. Modern Menace, I'm out.